Hi Virgo, welcome to Starchaeology Tarot. I am Desi, I will be your Starchaeologist. Today, it's a day in July. Welcome to the month of July. I'm so excited to see what Spirit has to say to you this month. I'm only interested in messages that will uplift, inspire, enlighten, encourage, support, strengthen, bolster you, remind you of how powerful and magical you are. So that is the message that I'm looking for from Spirit. That is the message I will deliver. If you have any additional intention that you want to set on this reading, any specific question or area of your life that you are curious about, please take the time as I shuffle and tune in to decide that inside yourself, set that intention or ask that question. Full disclosure / warning, some of this will resonate with you, some of it's not going to resonate with you. That's okay. There's so many Virgos out there, and each of you, despite all having Virgo sun sign, are individuals, complex, nuanced individuals. For a better, more accurate, fuller picture of you, I highly recommend you checking out your other placements. This is good for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, but I encourage you to watch those placements for you so you can get a more accurate, full picture of the very complex, nuanced puzzle that is you. For this reading, though, for the sake of this reading, just take what resonates with you as being meant for you, and if it doesn't resonate, it's just not meant for you. So, easy fix. A quick life hack, the tarot life hack. Okay. That's it. Let's shuffle. Virgo, what beautiful symmetry we have in this reading, and like actual poetry. This month for you is, I'll just say a little bit about before we start getting into specific cards, but this month for you is your concept of what you believe the role of fighting is in your life is completely undergoing a huge makeover. It's being challenged, it's being prodded, and with success this month, you'll see it shift into a new belief system, hopefully, that supports you better than your current relationship with fighting. I think that many of you have been really big fighters in your life. Like, you have the things that you have faced, the things that you have come up against, and have been forced to fight when you haven't even asked for it, those things have made you into this strong warrior that you are. And being a warrior, being someone who really has to be that serious about fighting for their life, sometimes fighting in order to live, fighting to have a voice. It's easy to then define yourself as a fighter rather than by the beliefs and people and practices and things that you are fighting for, which really are the things that you identify with. But the journey to those things has been so wrought with conflict that you've been so enmeshed in the fighting that it's easy to lose sight of those things and really more so become identified with simply being a fighter in the process. And the beginning of the month, we see you, it's starting with the 7 of Wands. By the end of the month, you're at 5 of Wands. And it's the Five of Wands paired with the Six of Swords, which is the Refugee card. It's this card of moving on, leaving behind, detaching mentally from something that was not serving you, and building your own new world. It's like, you know, you're on your own Mayflower by the end of this month, and you're going to this new, completely new land where you believe anything is possible, and you're starting from that place, and it's completely redefining your concept of fighting, from something where you feel like you're constantly threatened and the stakes are extremely high, to something where you actually enjoy the competition, where you're able to see fighting as only a piece of something much bigger. It's not about the fighting itself. The competition is an invitation for you to kind of double down on what you believe, for you to test your own belief systems, for you to test your own willpower, for you to test how much you care about something, and form your own ideas based on how you compare yourselves to others. You know, we think of like comparing ourselves to others often in a negative light, but there's a positive in it too, in that when we compare ourselves to someone that we're like, oh, that person does not resonate with me at all, it makes it easier for us to be like, well, I'm not that. I'm much more clearer now about what it is that I believe and what's important to me, because I know what I don't want to be. Same with seeing someone that we really admire. We have an opportunity there to be like, oh, I really like them, and then we feel threatened because we want that too. There is no cap on how many people can be one thing. You know, that's a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset. There is enough of everything to be available to everyone. And when we look at someone else and they have qualities, or they have aspects of their life that we covet, we have an opportunity, rather than to feel competitive with them, rather to be inspired by them. And so it's these ways in which comparison helps us and makes us, kind of purifies our own flame, you know, purifies our own soul purpose, our own motivation, our own desires, and really become clear about what it is we want and what is driving us and what is worth it to us. Also, this card, I have to show you this card because you can see everyone's wearing face masks in there. This is now the COVID-19 card to me. Oh, wow. And I think it's also I think this is relevant to say that there are maybe some of you right now that are really wrapped up in the fight, the internal fighting and struggling that is arising due to this pandemic, and the lines that it is marking in the sand between people, the ways that it is dividing people. And if you feel yourself being wrapped up in that, that is something to move on from, because this kind of divisiveness is judging people during this time, separating yourself from people who think differently from you, and attacking them, essentially, is not going to bring you closer to anything that you want. You're moving away from conflict. You're moving on from conflict. You're growing past conflict. I do think that for many of you that this conflict is directly related to the world events right now, whether that is creating conflict within you or conflict between you and loved ones, people that you live with, friends. But whatever it is, this is a time where you are rising above that conflict and you're growing into something else. You're creating, you have an opportunity to create a new world as the old world is being destroyed and has been destroyed largely. So what is the world that you want to create? What do you want to make that foundation? Is it a foundation of opposition? Is it a foundation of that's really full of hatred, or is it a foundation that allows for friendly competition, allows for debate, but is not divided by that? That the health of that world does not teeter, on it's not so fragile that it can fall apart so easily by people who are different, who are different, essentially. I hope that's making sense. We have more to get into, so I'll come back to that. I think I got a little off course there. So the situation that you find yourself in this month, though, really is one where you are fighting, where the fight is much more than friendly competition to you. It feels like the stakes are high, and it feels like you are in this pattern of fighting. You've been in this war. You've been fighting a war for a long time. And this latest battle is just the latest of a series of battles that you've been in. And it's exhausting. The Seven of Wands is also often called the Advocate card, and I think that there are people right now that you feel that you are advocating for, that you're speaking up for, and that is fueling your fire even more because it's important to you to speak up for those who don't have a voice. Excuse me, I need to drink this. It's important you to speak up for those who don't have a voice. I think for others of you, some of you are advocating for yourself right now. And you're advocating for this version of you, this King of Cups version of you that is emerging. This incredibly emotionally intelligent. I mean, this is insane. We have the King of Cups in two places in this reading, so this is really huge for you. I think for some of you, this is a version of you. This is you coming into this new, incredibly emotionally aware and intelligent version of yourself. It's like you are gaining authority over your emotional well-being, not in the sense that you are controlling your emotions in any way, but rather you're not a victim to your emotions. You aren't ruled by your emotions. Instead, you are still the ruler, but you have emotions, and you're able to use those emotions as tools in a very well-adjusted way, as opposed to letting yourself be rocked and capsize even, on the waters of your own emotions, which maybe you feel like you've experienced earlier in your life. Especially being a warrior and going through the hardships that you've had, there were most definitely times where having to face those challenges, having to face those hardships, you found yourself in incredibly emotionally high emotional stakes, and very easily manipulated by your own emotions. Now you're realizing that having been a fighter for so long, you're getting that under control. The danger here is that there is a vulnerability in you that is emerging. Part of being the King of Cups means being able to let down your walls, but you remaining in charge of whether you put your walls down or put them up. Being the King of Cups does not eliminate vulnerability. It just means being able to talk about that vulnerability and hold space for that vulnerability in a very well-adjusted, rational, even-keeled way. And not be ruled by that, but you're still, transparent and open. Your heart isn't closed, your heart is open. I think that there are some of you that you've become so used to fighting that you're resisting that King of Cups version of yourself, because this is very scary. It's very scary to be this aware and this have this high of an EQ and choose to let your walls down at times, and that emotional intelligence of knowing that letting your walls down, being vulnerable, will not hurt you. It won't be the end of you. It won't destroy you, which is the reason why we keep those walls up to begin with, why we keep our heart closed. It's a matter of self-defense. It's a war technique. And you're realizing right now that you're coming into this wisdom that there is great power in letting those walls down. And the irony is that is the very thing, that revelation might be the thing that you are fighting right now. That revelation might be the thing that you are now making your target to fight against, because that is what you've done for so long. You've been this warrior. You have fought against it. I think for others of you, this King of Cups is not you. This is someone in your life. This is a King of Cups who has walked into your life, who is has this masculine energy. They're male or female, or non-binary, or gender doesn't matter. They're any gender. But when I say masculine energy, it's what's classically considered masculine, meaning that it is a very controlled, disciplined, action-oriented approach to cups, which is water, which is emotion, to the heart. So it's someone who is like really just has all their ducks in a row. It's just so mature, emotionally mature, in a way that is like, I guess the masculine aspect of that is manifests in a way that's like, oh, they're a professional in this, like they're an authority in this, and that's something about that is actually disarming to the warrior in you. There's something about that energy of facing someone that is so open, whose heart is so open, who puts their walls down, so that, or puts their shield down, so that you like don't know how to respond to them. You're like, I'm fighting you. Oh, your shield is down? Should I keep fighting you? I think that's kind of what some of you are experiencing right now. And it's disarming, it's disorienting, and you don't know how to react to a person like this. And there's a real opportunity here for this relationship with this person to open you up, to bring you out of this constant state of fighting, to bring you out of this place of continuing to fight the war. There's also, with the Seven of Wands, it's you've been fighting this for so long, but sevens also indicate real success. Like, you're so close to the end of this, and often things feel the most tedious and difficult right before you've reached the end, and you've reached the light at the end of the tunnel. Sorry, I keep yawning. I don't know what's happening with my body. I think yawning's about oxygen intake. Anyway, answer that in the comments if you know about yawning. This is, yeah, I'm just seeing you. It's funny because it's like you feel like you're so close to the end of this war, and this person you see as an obstacle, when really putting down your weapon, putting down your shield, and actually openly connecting with this person is what will take you the final mile to winning the war. So there's real irony there. So yeah, some of you, it's someone else, and for others, I think it is you. It is this incredibly emotionally aware, intelligent version of yourself who wants to face your emotional wounds, who wants to open up your emotional baggage and dig, like look through that. And the warrior in you is resisting it so hard. The warrior in you is like, nope, I don't, that's not how I've survived this long, and I will not do that. I'm resisting that. I will fight that. I think that advocacy might be misplaced too. If you feel like you're speaking up for yourself, or you're resisting a person, or resisting that version of yourself because you think that you're doing something good advocating for someone else, take a second look at that, is what I'm hearing. Take a deeper look at that, because that could just be an excuse that you are using to keep you from self-expansion, from some real growing pains. And I say pains because growth is often painful, and that's why we resist it. But it's also, growing pains happen when you have a growth spurt, meaning it's just like a lot happens in a short period of time. It's an incredibly powerful time of change for you. So that could be happening right now. God, how do you work through this? So this is the King of Cups again, plus the Ace of Pentacles. For those of you who this King of Cups is someone else, I'm hearing that you need to mirror that other person. This is like, this King of Cups was on the bottom here, and then this King of Cups was on the top. And this was this hand, I just want to show you guys this hand was next to this King of Cups card, almost like this is the hand coming from this king, and this person in your life is holding out their hand with treasure to give you. That person is holding out their hand saying, you've been fighting so long, here's something to help you, please take it, this is a gift. And because you are the warrior, you are so used to refusing that gift. You're like, no one gives me gifts, that's a weapon, no, I'm not going to accept that. Again, instead of putting down your weapon and opening your hand and accepting it. This is asking you, calling you to shift from being that warrior and putting on a crown and really matching the King of Cups that is facing you. Mirroring that person in their openness, in how much they are trusting you, in their vulnerability, in their incredible communication skills, in the way in which they're like, I want to address this, I want to talk about this and be open about it, and open our hearts to each other. And that will never work if it's only one way. That only ever works when it's a two-way street. I think the person with the open heart still gets something out of it, even with someone with a closed heart, because their perspectives are so wildly different. But the person with the closed heart is not going to get anything. They're not going to receive any gifts if they don't open their heart in return. So I think the message here is to receive the very tangible gift that is awaiting you. This because this is Ace of Pentacles. This is a a new beginning in how you're living, whether it is a new job opportunity, it's like literal money, it is something that you are inheriting, something like a physical possession someone wants to give you. It's a resource. It's like the world is full of possibilities, very real, tangible possibilities of just the joys that we experience only in this earthly plane. Things that we, physical rewards. And there are so many rewards that we can, such a range of rewards we can receive. And this is definitely one of those rewards. This is like real time, wish fulfillment, just something that you're like, I need this, or I want this physical thing, and this is something I'm very specific about that I want to experience in life. And this King of Cups, we think about emotional vulnerability being a completely internal experience, without understanding that how we feel, how the state of our hearts are, directly affect the physical world around us and what happens to us in action, in our physical experience. We think, oh, what happens on the inside stays in the inside, and that is not true. What happens on the inside seeps out of you. It affects everything that you touch. And this is getting a little hippie woo-woo. But how you feel, if you are walking through life like a king, and the way that you are holding yourself is like this King of Cups, and you have this full heart, this full open heart, and this incredible handle on your emotional well-being, your emotional wounds, your emotional self. Think about the real ways that can affect the opportunities that present themselves to you, how that affects how people see you, whether it's friends, family, potential employers, strangers, people that you interact with on a daily basis, just in like transactional circumstances. There are so many ways in which our energy affects, though, has very real consequences on our physical experience of the world. And this is a perfect example of that. It's like, be this King of Cups if what you want, be this King of Cups on the inside if you want to experience something that will fill your heart on the outside. In other words, have a full heart, have a full open heart on the inside if you want others to have full open hearts towards you. You will always receive what you give. And that's why I just love this mirroring of this King of Cups, above and below. Like, this is a real mirroring. I just feel like the world is showing you some sort of example of kindness, even if this is not a specific person in your life, but it is an opportunity, or it's just like a sense of like a hint of like almost like your higher self that you are growing into, or the world, the universe is being a King of Cups to you right now. The way you feel like the world sees you, it's like everyone around you is being a King of Cups to you. Whatever that is, do not fight it. Do not resist it. You don't have to bear a weapon at that source, at that force. You can match it. You can match it, and you will be surprised what comes from that matching. It's a moving on completely from this perspective from this feeling of I have to be a fighter. Anything good needs to be fought for. any hand of God. And God doesn't reach out and give you something for nothing. I think that is a belief system many of you have. You know, you don't just, something doesn't fall in your lap, when in fact things can fall in your lap. You don't have to necessarily fight to the death for those things. And that is a perspective about the way that you fight through the world that is coming to an end. Things can be easier for you. There will always be things that are hard, and there also can be things that are easy. Don't make the things that can be easy also hard. And I'd even venture to say, because this is what like enlightenment is all about, even those hard things, the things that we're like, there's always going to be hard things in the world, they can be easier for you than they would be for you now. Because everything boils down to what our worldview is and how we react to these things. How we react to these things, how we explain them. And if you're explaining them from a place of having an open and loving heart versus having a closed, bitter heart, I mean, forget it. Your life experiences will be vastly different. Virgo, I hope that was helpful. I hope that was enlightening. I hope that was encouraging. I think that you have the opportunity to really go through quite a big change this month and see yourself in a new light. You are so much more than a warrior, and it is a beautiful thing to be a warrior. It is a beautiful thing to fight for yourself, to fight for others, to fight for your ideals. But now is the time where you should actually be touching those ideals. You can start identifying yourself by those ideals, not by the act of fighting for them. I hope you have the most beautiful July, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please share this with anyone who you think would get something out of it. And also please leave in the comments, please comment if you have anything you'd like to share. I'd love to know the details of your life right now, how this reading is manifesting for you. I'd love to hear about that, so please, if you want to open up your heart and let down your walls, King of Cups, and connect with me, please do. I love you. I thank you. Good day to you, sir.